All right, let's talk about a force that is completely invisible, but it's everywhere. It's powering your car, it's driving the weather, it's literally the hidden energy inside everything. And today, we're going to make it visible.
So, let's start with something you've probably felt before. You're pumping up a bike tire, going at it for a minute or so, and you notice the pump is getting really warm, right? Why does that happen? Where is that heat coming from? Well, the answer pulls back the curtain on a world we can't even see.
So to figure out our little bike pump mystery, we have to start with this big idea. A huge amount of the energy in the universe is totally invisible to us.
You see, the air inside that pump, it's not just empty. Not at all. It's actually this wild, chaotic party of billions and billions of tiny particles all just ricocheting off each other and the walls of the pump like a million super bouncy balls trapped in a tiny box.
Now, all of those tiny bouncing particles have energy. And when you add all of that energy up, well, that gets us to the absolute core of what we're talking about today, a concept called internal energy.
So what is it, really? Well, simply put, internal energy is just the grand total of every little bit of energy from every single particle in a system. Think of it like a bank account for all the energy in that puff of air in the pump or in your morning coffee. It's the total accounting of everything happening on that tiny microscopic level.
And this energy bank account, it's really made of two main things. First up, you've got kinetic energy. That's just the energy of pure motion. The faster a particle is zipping and zooming around, the more kinetic energy it has. Simple. Then there's potential energy. This one's a little different. It's the energy stored in the forces between the particles, kind of like the stickiness or tension in these tiny invisible bonds that connect them.
Okay, so now we know what this internal energy thing is, but what makes it go up or down? Let's take a look at the things that influence it.
You know, the relationship here is actually pretty straightforward. If you have a system with low internal energy, its particles are moving kind of slow, which we feel as a lower temperature. But a system with high internal energy, that's a microscopic riot. The particles are moving way faster, it's much more chaotic, and you guessed it, it has a higher temperature. So here's the key takeaway. Temperature is really just our way of measuring the average kinetic energy of all those tiny particles.
Now, trying to track both the motion and the stickiness for trillions of particles at once is, well, basically impossible. So, physicists came up with this brilliant little shortcut to make life way easier. It's called the ideal gas.
The whole idea started with a simple question. What if? What if we just pretended those sticky forces, that potential energy, just wasn't there? What if all the particles were just perfect little billiard balls that never attracted or repelled each other at all?
And here's how that thought process works. First, you assume the particles are just tiny points with no real size. Second, you assume there are no forces between them. And if you do that, boom, you get to completely ignore potential energy. Just throw it right out of the equation. And what that means is, for this simple ideal gas, the internal energy is only the total kinetic energy. It's all about the motion.
And this leads us to this incredibly powerful and really beautiful conclusion. For an ideal gas, which, by the way, is a fantastic model for real gases like air in most situations, its internal energy depends on just one thing. Its temperature. That's it. Temperature goes up, internal energy goes up. The relationship is just clean, direct, and simple.
Okay, that's a cool physics trick, but why should you care? Why does any of this matter in the real world? Well, this is where it all comes together. We're going to connect this idea right back to our bicycle pump.
And here it is, the answer to our puzzle. When you push down on that pump, you are doing work. You're using your own energy to physically squeeze all those little air particles into a smaller space. That work gets transferred directly to the particles, making them zip around faster and faster. Their kinetic energy skyrockets, which means the total internal energy goes way up. And how do we feel that big increase in internal energy? As heat. It's that simple.
And this isn't just some weird one-off thing for bike pumps. This principle is absolutely everywhere. It's the whole reason an internal combustion engine works. A sudden spike in internal energy pushes a piston. It's how your fridge keeps things cold, by playing with the internal energy of a refrigerant. Heck, it drives colossal weather systems and spins the massive turbines in our power plants.
So when you boil it all down, internal energy is that fundamental bridge between the microscopic world of particles and the big, macro world that we actually live in. It's the invisible engine that lets us turn work into heat and, just as importantly, turn heat back into work. So the next time you feel a bit of warmth from an engine, or even just the sun on your skin, you can picture it, that chaotic, invisible dance of countless particles getting more and more energetic. Which of course leaves us with one last question to chew on. What other invisible energies are shaping the world all around you right at this very moment?